Hi, I'm Billy, one of the Fujiguys, here to show you some of the top features found on our SL and S series cameras. These cameras have identical features and functionalities with some subtle differences. The SL models use lithium-ion batteries, where the S series models use AA, 4 AA's that is. The SL models offer a hot shoe. The S series ones do not have a hot shoe. And in addition to that, they also slightly differ in the zoom capabilities depending on the model that you have. This one, the SL series, also have an additional zoom trigger on the side of the barrel where, again, the standard S series does not. Other than those things, both cameras offer the same key top features. So again, have a look at some of these features right now. In addition to the SLR auto mode that the camera detects multiple scenes, or even the manual control modes, you also have the ability to shoot different preset scenes, including the smile and shoot scene. So you push the menu OK button and you scroll over and you can have different options here. So let me just show you the natural light and flash mode. If I select that and I pop the flash, it's going to take 2 pictures for me, one with flash, one without flash. Sorry, I'm too close. I'm going to zoom in again. 1 shot, 2 shot with the flash, and it's going to store both images on the camera for me. Without flash, with flash, later on I can decide which one I want to keep, which one I don't want to keep. That's a cool little mode. You also have things like the portrait, baby mode. There's even a smile and shoot mode. And what that does is it basically detects the subject. So once it detects the subject's face, it automatically takes the photo. So if I zoom in on a subject here, once the face is detected and it smiles, the camera should automatically take the photo for you. I'm just going to have the camera focus there. So it took the snapshot. If it sees the face smile again, it takes the picture again. And it keeps doing that until you actually turn it off. There you go. And to turn it off, of course, you just push the back button. You can also register a face and give it a name if you wanted to do that. And I can set that up to be, of course, myself, Billy. There we go. It's registered. Next time, I can search for all my images, and it shows up with Billy if I wanted to do that. So again, no subject. It sees the subject. It should detect it based on face detection. Then checks to see it smells. The name appears, as you can see, because I recognize that, and it takes a photo automatically. So that's just a quick look at the smile and shoot. There's also other scene shooting modes. Night scene, there's a tripod mode that uses a long exposure, so that's why we recommend you put that on a tripod for that mode. And other modes like basically text mode or whatnot, they basically change either the focusing distance or the white balance settings to give you the proper image. There's also this zoom bracketing function, which is kind of cool. And basically what it does is that I aim it at the subject and it's going to crop 3 images for me. So I take 1 snapshot, and out of that 1 image, it's going to crop 2 extra images for me for a total of 3 images automatically. So that's just a quick look at the scene modes on the S and SL series. Let's take a look at the Panorama Mode. Turn the dial to the Panorama Mode, and it allows you to take 3 shots and stitches it automatically together within the camera. Basically, you push the button halfway down to pre-focus, take your shot, you get a little plus and a circular plus. All you do is line it up, and it automatically takes a second shot for you. And I rotate it again and line it up, and it automatically takes the 3rd shot for me, and it actually stitches the 3 images in the camera itself, so you actually don't have to do anything out of the camera. Once it's done, it gives you the option to save it if you actually like it, or discard it and push OK to save that. On playback, it actually when you push down on the directional pad, it kind of scans through that for you, gives you a quick low playback. Very simple to do, a great feature for vacationing. Very simple, found on both the S and SL series of cameras. Let's just take a quick look at the manual options on the S and SL series cameras. Change the dial to either the M mode to control both aperture and shutter speed. You can also do an aperture or shutter priority as well. I'm going to show you how to use the full manual control feature of this camera. Basically, what you have is sort of a display here, or the light meter, that tells you your scene being underexposed or overexposed, your aperture and your shutter speeds. It tells you to change those. You have to push the exposure compensation button, so I'm going to do that. First thing to do is if I push up and down, I'm going to adjust the shutter speeds on the camera. It goes all the way up to 1/2000th of a second. And as you can see from my light meter, it's telling me my image is going to be underexposed. So if I take that snapshot, my picture should be somewhat very dark, which it is. Now if I change the shutter speed and I make it slower, And you'll see to a point that the light meter moves to the middle. That means my picture is going to be properly exposed if I take the snapshot, and it does give me proper exposure. And if I increase it a little further, it's going to tell me it's underexposed or overexposed, and it's going to give me sort of a washed out image, which happens right there. And of course, if I do it longer, you can tell me, I can see that I can shoot at an 8-second exposure. So great for doing some night scenes with that. To control the aperture on the camera, I have to push left or right, and it adjusts the aperture from wide open to closed. There is no aperture in between because of these style cameras and the size of the sensor. There's not a whole lot of depth of field. So really, you only have the options to shoot wide open for the aperture or closed down so that you can get everything in focus in that sense. If you shoot in the aperture or shutter priority mode, same thing. All you have to do is push the plus or minus sign. And for shutter priority, as you adjust the shutter speeds, the camera is going to try to adjust the aperture to the appropriate settings to give you a proper exposure. Let's take a look at the high-speed shooting mode on this camera. You can push the continuous shooting button to access the high-speed modes. You have several different options here. I'd like to show you a couple of them here. The top 40 image, and that's going to capture images at the small resolution, but it's going to be very fast. Again, I basically hold the button halfway down to pre-focus first and push all the way down. And it fires a bunch of shots, up to 40 shots if I wanted to, and it stores that. So if you plan to use that feature a lot, I highly recommend use a very fast SD card in order to have a very fast write time to the card. If I play back the image, as you can see, I can push left, and you'll see that there's all the images that are captured right here. Of course, it's the same image, but there you go. Now, there's also another continuous shooting mode. You push the button on top again. And I'm going to show you top or final 6. And what that means is that I can hold the button halfway down, and then when I want to push the button all the way down, it's going to continue to take pictures, but it's actually not going to save anything until I actually let go. Then it's going to capture the last 6 shots that I've just taken. And that's an easy feature where it kind of takes the guesswork away of capturing these action shots before the subjects actually reach into that scene. So that's just a quick look at the high-speed mode on the S and SL series of cameras. To shoot HD video, all you have to do on this camera, change the dial to the video mode, and away to go. You basically push the shutter button to start the recording process, and it starts recording. It gives you approximately about 9-minute video clip on basically a 2 GB file size. We highly recommend you pick up at least a Class 4 rated SD card and a high capacity card, let's say to be 8 GB at least. A 9-minute video will eat up approximately 2 GB of file size. It is a limitation on this camera, so if you want to record longer, you have to push record again to continue recording another 9-minute clip if you wanted to do that. You can zoom during the video by default. It's digital zoom only. So to configure that, to do optical zoom, you actually have to go into the menu. So you push the menu OK button, and if you go into the setup of the camera, scroll down until you see the movie zoom type. Switch it from digital to optical. Now you can take full advantage of the optical zoom that's found on these S-series camera, and of course zoom during video. So now it can actually zoom optically within it. It's a very smooth style zoom. It does do autofocus during video as well. As you can see that it adjusts for the focus. You can stop the video by pushing the shutter button. So that's just a quick look at the HD video functions of the S and SL series camera. You can actually embed a date and time on the actual image itself. If you wanted to, it's called the date stamping feature. By default, the camera, it's switched off because once you have the date on that image, you cannot remove it. So to enable that function, you go into the menu, you go over to the tab and scroll down to the Set tab, scroll to the right, and then scroll right down until you see Date Stamp. And then you can turn it on. You have the options of just the date or the date and time. I'm going to push OK to that. The date and time information is based on your date and time that you set for the camera. If you have it incorrect, you can always go up to the top and highlight the date and time and adjust the appropriate date and time of the camera, of course. Once you have that done, you can take a snapshot, which I'm going to do right here. There we go. It's going to embed that date and time information right at the bottom right-hand corner. If I preview that image, I zoom in using the zoom control, scroll down to the bottom right-hand side of the image, you'll notice that there you go, you have the date and time information. You cannot remove that. So if you don't want that, make sure you have it turned off in the setup menu. And you'll notice that it's on by, because it actually says date right on the LCD screen itself. Again, that's just a quick look at the top features on the S and SL series cameras. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my Fujiguys video, as well as follow me on Twitter at Fujiguys. Until then, I thank you for watching this video.